every day in America, on average, 7 children and teens are shot dead.
Police have 2 teenagers in custody who they believe pulled a gun on the baby's mother, then did the unthinkable.
This is a situation that plays out in our society way too often.
Years later, baby just shot.
Okay, listen to me, ma'am. Is the baby breathing?
Killing the 3-year-old.
3 children shot in the city.
Crime that took place is
Aux États-Unis, chaque jour, on estime que 90 personnes meurent par balle. Et parmi ces victimes quotidiennes, 7 sont mineures.
You killed an innocent human life, and that I hope you die for it.
Gary Younge, ancien correspondant britannique du Guardian aux États-Unis, a été frappé par l'ampleur du problème. C'est le sujet de son dernier livre. Il a choisi une date au hasard, le 23 novembre 2013, et a décidé de raconter l'histoire des 8 mineurs morts ce jour-là. Un moyen de mettre un visage sur la mort par balle et d'essayer de comprendre les raisons de ce phénomène typiquement et tragiquement américain.
The violence doesn't just fall from a clear blue sky. It's part of a broader set of societal problems. An example would be Samuel Brightman in Dallas, who gets just about 90 words in the Dallas Morning News when he's shot dead. And as well as telling the story of his death, I look at how can it be that a child who is removed from the planet gets only 90 words in a newspaper. And so I look at news values and who populates a newspaper and the fact that they tend to be white and rich and don't live in the areas where this gun violence takes place, and so they're not sensitized to it in the same way, and how we have become inured to the fact of gun death, which means that when a child in a certain area, typically black or Latino, in a poor area where blacks and Latinos live, when they are killed, there is a sense that, well, that's what happens over there, so it's not news. It happens all the time. Sometimes it's precisely because things happen so often that they are news, that they are obscene. I don't think there's any reason to imagine that America is going to get gun control anytime soon. I think that if Sandy Hook, when one man, a young man, Adam Lanza, went into a school in Connecticut and killed 20 children, 6 adults and himself, Obama responded by saying we have to talk about this.
Every time I think about those kids, it gets me mad. And by the way, it happens on the streets of Chicago every day. So, all of us need to demand a Congress brave enough to stand up to the gun lobby's lies. All of us need to stand up and protect its citizens.
If that didn't do it, I find it unlikely that any others will. Actually, most Americans do support more gun control quite consistently. So the NRA, the main lobby, has not won the arguments, but they do win the votes. And the reason why I think they win the votes is because gun lovers, gun enthusiasts, are far more motivated than gun control advocates. Gun control advocates are driven by laws and arguments, and those arguments are for universal background checks, or a certain kind of weapons ban, or things like that. Whereas the gun lobby is driven by some of the core myths that guide America. So if you go to an NRA convention and you say to them, I don't understand this, why the gun? They will say, you know, imagine someone comes into your house. Are you married? Do you have children? Imagine someone comes into your house and they're going to rape your wife and they're going to kill your children. They're going to steal everything you've worked for. What are you going to do? Wave a bat at them? Call the police and wait for the police to come and take your dead body out? Or are you going to stand and fight? And in that argument, there are appeals to masculinity, virility, to homestead, to small government, to individualism, to do for self, to a certain kind of independence, which are all core elements of the kind of broader American myth. If you add that to a foreign policy, which is might is right, and to an understanding of American history that is about domination and conquering, then those myths, even when they're flawed, because most people who die from guns kill themselves, and after that you're most likely to be shot by someone you know. So that's not actually how people are killed, but even though the myths are flawed, they're enduring and they're powerful, and even though the arguments are strong, they are limited and intellectual.